Welcome to the TTT News Special. I'm DIKE Rosta, and we have a doozy for you because Cyversify is a software development company that has a particular interest in innovation and creativity. And recently they embarked on an initiative to improve the security of both commuters and taxi operators across Trinidad and Tobago. Their CEO, Yovanni, Emmanuel, joins us, as well as the operations director by the name of Sutherland. So, gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for making the time to speak about this initiative. How are you?
Just fine, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
All right, and Abraham, I'll ask you to give us a little history of Cyversify, thank you, because it's one thing to say, okay, well, software development company, but at the same time, what does that mean? What are some of the things that you've been involved in?
All right, so Cyversify Ltd, one of the things that we are involved with is software like augmented reality, bringing innovation to Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, the Caribbean. So we would have embarked on certain initiatives, so especially in the educational sector, right, where it is we use augmented reality to enhance learning for kids ages 8 to 13, as well as it is, the check-in platform, where we now take our skills and put it to the public transportation sector, where we start to digitize, a solution that needs digitizing, right? That is very old school, very paper-based, that it's been like that for ages. So we saw an opportunity where we are able to get this sector kind of, in the new age. Yeah, so it lines up with our innovation, with our creativity, as well as bringing a change to Trinidad.
All right, and Abraham, is one thing to see an opportunity, but it's another to actually say, okay, well, this is something that we're going to be a part of. We are going to be part of the change. What was that catalyst, that thing that spark that said, yes, we are going to go into trying to address this problem?
I think one of the things that really triggered this initiative as well would have been with recent events, the unfortunate abduction and demise of Ashanti Riley and Andrea Barrett. I think at that point, not just us, but the country as a whole saw it as the final straw. How much more of these stories we need to hear? We're tired of hearing persons leaving their homes and not even returning. And apart from just the passengers but even the drivers on a daily basis, you hear these stories about being robbed, being interfered with, being harassed, and there's nothing in place where we can make proper accountability for. So at this point, we decided, let's take action, let's put something out there into society and really use this opportunity to make a difference in our society.
And Yovanni, I want to go back to you, please, Mr. CEO. In terms of saying it's an appless platform, what do you mean by that? Take me through how this individuals, both passengers and drivers, would engage with this appless platform.
Right, sure. So as it is, it's an appless platform, right? It means that you don't have to download an app from Google Play or the iOS store to use it, right? So it's a web-based application, right? Personally designed by myself and Chloe Thompson. And what that does for a passenger is that they're able to access the same features of an app without having to clutter their phone, right? Or worry about storage space as well. To utilize a function that that would be in place for their safety, right? So our appless solution is stored on servers, dedicated servers that is, right? Given the opportunity, given the passengers as well as the drivers the opportunity to access something that resembles an app, right? You will normally have to download and go through that whole process, but it's not, right? This allows us to push updates to, enhance these servers, enhance the software at a very real-time process.
Yeah. So passengers could utilize our system by simply opening the cameras on their phone. Most phones come now with QR scanners already built into the cameras. So we're utilizing systems that are already there. So you just simply open your camera, any QR code that you see attached to the taxi, you'll be able to walk straight up to it, scan it, and it provides you with the information on the taxi that is about to enter.
I want you to read and spell for me a little bit because I'm not claiming dinosaur status, but at the same time, I recently upgraded from one level of Me Too to a higher level of Me Too that not, and I don't know really what the phone does in and of itself. But you're saying that, is there a certain level that the phone needs to be at? Because I really appreciate the fact that you're talking about not having to download an app, because after I have one or two conversations, I need to be clearing because I simply don't have the space. But in terms of saying, okay, well, most phones will have a scanner. So that scanner, how does it trigger, for want of a better word, saying, okay, well, we're going towards this app?
Yeah, so like I said, it's something that is already built into the phone. So the phones themselves, they already come with that capability on it, all right? However, even in the event someone has a phone that's probably a little bit older that don't have the capability of doing QR scanning, we have the option on our platform where persons can enter the information manually. So you enter a driver's number plate, and it pulls up all that information on that particular driver as well. So the QR code is just for easy access, but you can also type in the information on the platform and pull up the same information that you will see to check it.
Right. The platform also offers where it is you don't have a QR code installed. Our platform comes with a built-in QR code already on the web-based solution. So be it if you have one, if you don't have one, we make provisions for all devices that will be accessing our platform.
All right, and we get back into that a little later, but when did this initiative start, and what has been the feedback or buy-in on it thus far?
This initiative started, well, as it is, Abraham mentioned about, the situation and stuff, but it actually started before that, right? Reason being is that as a software company, we always look for ways to innovate and create. And this platform was actually just a piece of the whole solution that it is we're going to offer. Yeah. So we have the app here where it's security based and whatnot, but this is just a small piece of it, right? What it is Cyversify is going to offer is a holistic platform for the transportation sector, right? And this security feature is just one part of it. So we have, from our own badges that drivers will be issued where they won't have to log into the system, right? Because of the fact that the end users of it, they're not really all that tech savvy as well. So we have some that are tech savvy, some are not, and we have to meet everybody where they're at. So once again, it's just one part of the solution, right? It's something that we have been setting in motion since before this, everything happened. But, the situation is just the driving force now that really just pushed us through to just complete it at a faster rate.
In terms of the acceptance, it has been well received. Thus far, we have gotten endorsement from the Arima Business Association. We actually just a few minutes ago concluded our meeting with the mayor of Arima as well, and the taxi associations within this area. We have their full buy-in. Online has been fantastic. I mean, we have our information out there on the various digital platforms. We are seeing the person signing up. We are seeing the taxi drivers and they're showing their interest, and we are getting the associations on board. And we just continue to roll out. We have already started that process. So we take pride in saying that we are the first in the country to, well, I don't even know if we can actually say as far as the Caribbean to roll out this initiative, but it's live and active, and the reception has just been wonderful, embracing. I think finally we can say, instead of having that conversation of digitizing or getting this information, the process has in fact begun. And that's a good place to be right now.
All right, and we want to continue being in a good place, so we continue the conversation. When we return, we are speaking with Yovanni, Emmanuel, as well as Mr. Abram Sutherland about Cyversify and what it can do for traveling a little safer in Trinidad and Tobago and beyond. Stay with us. We return with more. Welcome back. We are speaking with Yovanni, Emmanuel, and Abraham Sutherland about Cyversify. And you spoke about dealing with the ARIMA Business Association, and we see from the background and the backdrop that some of that footage was actually taken in ARIMA, gentlemen. But I like the fact that you all spoke about engaging or who you were engaging in terms of like taxi drivers and business associations. And that leads to the question, though, of security features of check-in, and then we speak about engagement a little later. So what are some of those security features? Or is it that I get a QR code that looks kind of like this sticker that you all have, and I put it up on my car, and I'm good to go?
All right, so I'll speak about the face value of it firstly, and Yovanni will speak on in terms of the technical aspect. Each QR code is custom made for a particular vehicle and particular driver. All right, there are some features on it, so there are little markings on it that has identifiers specifically to that car in itself. All right, so that way it's not something that you can just duplicate and stuff like that. Once you scan the QR code, it pulls up all the information on that particular vehicle, so you can see the make of the vehicle, the way it looks on the side, the back, the front of it as well. You see the driver's information, who that driver is, and it also captures the geolocation or the GPS location of where it is you entered that vehicle. All right, maybe you might want to spend a little bit more.
Yeah. So as it is, Abraham said that we use QR codes, right? Now, funny thing about QR codes is that, these are things that are pre-done, right? So there is some kind of, security leak in terms of what it is you go QR codes. However, Cyversify Ltd has found a workaround that, because let's say a driver installs a QR code here, right? There's no way to turn it off. You can't turn off a QR code, all right? So be it if you're on duty, off duty, the QR code still runs. However, with the system that we have installed here, we have the ability to switch on and off that QR code, right? As I just said, with our security features.
That's correct.
Right? Where we know that we want to implement a solution, there are loopholes that would be found, and we now work on those loopholes and make it into something even more secure, right? So that's just the QR code part of it. You start to scan and whatnot, right? In terms of the passengers, you have the ability to send that information to your loved ones, utilizing our email feature, yeah, as well as the taxi drivers now are able to get some kind of history on the passengers, that enter their vehicle, because at the end of the day, we want to protect the passengers as well as the driver as well.
You raised the fact of saying, okay, well, you get information about the car, about the driver. Have you all had discussions, or what are the logistics with regard to someone who may own a car but have someone else driving it for them? And I'm also wondering, because PH driving or PH taxis are a thing, how do you all deal with that? Do you all deal with that at all?
Yeah, so that's something. So I will start with the last part first. So right now the platform is built for H taxis only. Reason being, we want to make sure that everything that we do is legitimate and legitimized and properly validated by us. We can comfortably say when we go towards the H taxis, we can verify their information, can verify their taxi badges, etc. They are registered. So as it is right now, the platform is going to be exclusively for H taxis, as it is right now.
All right, and also with regard to someone owning a vehicle, an H car, but possibly having someone else drive it for them, is that a situation that you all have had to work with?
Yeah, so that is something that we had faced, in fact, and what we did, we ensure that all that information is also represented on the platform. So you can comfortably see who owns this vehicle, but who is driving it, and who is driving it as well. So we ensure that most of our ground is covered, and you can see all the relevant information from the drivers of the vehicle to the owner of the vehicle. You can see that comfortably on our check-in platform.
Right. How far has this impact gotten as at this point, gentlemen? I'm wondering, because you speak about the business association and the taxi drivers in ARIMA. Have you gotten to the point of taking this to policymakers on a more macro national scale? So because people are looking, or individuals are looking for ways to do this and to ensure that security at this point in time. So I'm sure that the powers that be would be very happy to have this alternative in their toolbox or in their resource kit. What is the level of conversation that you're having at this point?
Yeah, Yeah. So we started the conversation from the local level, starting with the drivers, and of course, because we have to get some feedback as to what it is we need to have included on this platform. That is very important, to the point where we take it to the local level, and we are heading towards reaching to the point of having the conversation on the ministerial level. But what I will say is, though, our platform is already built with the understanding and the expectation that they're going to have things that they want to integrate into it. So we are expecting that information such that will be transmitted with the RFIDs on the number plates. That is something we already open the gates to. We're going to have information where we have the U-turn system where you can pull up your driver's permit information. We have already built our systems with the understanding that we need to integrate that information. But we're getting there to the conversation with the ministry on the ministerial level. And we hope, through means of this, having these conversations, these interviews, it opens up some more gates, but we are definitely open to conversation and trying to take this message as far up the ladder as possible.
I like the fact that you all speak about the system being one that is still robust enough so that you can integrate new features. But I'm also asking about scalability, because I appreciate starting small, creeping before you walk, doing it locally before you go to the national level. But is sheer volume an issue with regard to the system that you have?
No. So because we do a web-based solution, right, everything is running off our dedicated servers, right? So in terms of volume, that would not be a problem at all, right? Because our server load can handle it, right? So we cater for, let's say, about 500,000, 700,000 persons traveling, right? As well as 20,000, 30,000 vehicles, right? So we already factor that in while it is building the solution. So scalability is not an issue here.
Very glad to hear that. Now, gentlemen, we have about 2 minutes more. And with that, it would be remiss of us to not get that information out in terms of like how people can engage with you, both as a driver or someone who is interested in seeing this in their neck of the woods. So their business association, their taxi association. How do people contact you? How do people become a part of this initiative?
All right, so you can check us out on all social media platforms. Of course, we are covered on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We are even on TikTok as well. You can also check us out on our website, that is check-in.cyversify.com. Our information and sign-up forms are available on those platforms. Or you can even send us an email. The email information is also readily available on all of those platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, send us an email. We're open to conversation. We're inviting other stakeholders, other entities to come and have a conversation with us. And we're going to reach out to you so we know that you're open to those conversations as well. And we're hoping that it's this complete national effort and approach to securing transportation in the country.
What is kind of interesting to me is that there was recently a hackathon dealing with trying to come up with ideas to mitigate gender-based violence in the transportation system. So definitely I'm going to link these two stakeholders together to see if something more can come out of it. But Mr. CEO, Mr. Abraham, I'm wondering, what are some of the things that you're looking at to say, okay, well, we will be successful if this happens? Is it that you're looking for a certain amount of people to be on the app by this time? And I'll give you the last word, please, Yovanni.
All right, so what really makes that platform as it is, would be the users attached to it, right? Both passengers and taxi drivers. So we are just looking at the volume. So register, taxi drivers register, passengers register, right? And that way the platform would be a success. So basically it's just volume we're looking at right now.
Okay, and lastly, but what does it cost to register?
So for passengers, it's totally free, right? For taxi drivers, there is a cost attached to it, which is $30 a month. However, we have been in conversations with some corporate sponsors where, we're trying to buffer that cost for them as well.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. Yovanni, Emmanuel, and Abraham. Sutherland doing work that is needed, it is timely, and it is out-of-the-box thinking. Thank you so much. And on behalf of the entire news team, we want to thank you for tuning in to the TTT News Special. I'm DK Roster.